Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Ravensberg. So, it's the middle of spring and we have got a lot to do. Unfortunately, it's only small jobs. We don't have any big jobs, but we've got lots and lots of small jobs that need to get done. And so, pretty much this whole episode is going to be about maximizing our helpers. Now, when it comes to spraying herbicide like I'm doing right now, and our UNIMOG is this is the handiest little bloody machine I've ever owned. I mean, it's so versatile, so many different jobs it can do. I am absolutely digging it. When it comes to the UNIMOG standard FS19 helpers, well, when it comes to spraying herbicide during seasons, I should say, standard FS19 helpers will not do the job because, well, the weeds are spotty. The whole field's not showing weeds, and if there's no weeds, the helpers go, hey man, we're done with the job. So there are other ways to get this working, and we're going to be utilizing just about every trick in the book, at least as much as I can, to keep helpers working on different tasks throughout the series or throughout the episode. Because frankly, I would like to make some time to get over to my own farm today at some point, but that's not my first priority. My first priority is to Frau Baumann. Now, I've already got one helper spreading slurry on a field. I picked up several contracts to bring in money today. Now, our milk prices are on the rise, but they are not prepared to do much of anything yet. And here we go. This is the one that I wanted. Now I have this guy set up on a course play course, and he is going to mow and ted this whole, let's get to our nearest waypoint, drive like the wind. So he is going to mow and ted our clover for us the first time. The clover will need tedded a second time. I've got another grass field that needs to be mowed so it can be drying in the sun. Again, I've got multiple contracts. This field is going to need to be mowed, tedded a second time, windrowed, and collected. So the clover fields require a lot of work. But that's okay, because we're going to need all of the clover hay we can get our bloody little hands on. And we are going to get it. Also, we need plenty of herbicide sprayed throughout the day, simply because, and there's our other helper, already spreading slurry. Outstanding. Good job. We do have a few fields that are a little bit weedy. Not weedy like in Wheaties. Weedy. They've got weeds in them. So helpers are going to be big today. Now, as I said, I am keeping an eye on milk prices. I haven't done a milk sale today, which is surprising. I know it's usually the morning thing, but milk is on the rise. And I have a feeling we're going to get to a very good price today, so I don't want to sell too early because old Harv needs the money. Frau B needs the money too, but Harv needs the money more. She's making a lot of money. I mean, she could fire me in as long as she fed and fed cows and sold milk. This thing would be perfectly sustainable, and she'd have all the cash she ever needed. There's not really much more that this farm needs in that regard. However, I am looking into doing something to simplify the cattle system. Now, we are playing on seasons and maize plus, and that makes cattle feeding a little bit trickier. Well, quite a bit trickier than in the base game. So, if you recall, we have to provide our cattle now with 4 different types of food. If I was to make or buy total mixed ration, TMR, well, that only goes so far. It only provides 3 of the 4 food groups. It does not provide them with hay, even though hay is mixed in the total mixed ration. You do the math on that one. I have no idea why. Now, with Maize Plus, making TMR becomes a significantly bigger challenge because the formula for it is, I would just call it a bloody mess. It requires all kinds of stuff, and I have consulted with several people who play Maize Plus and Seasons, and they have all said no, total mixed ration in Maize Plus is not worth doing. I absolutely, completely agree. However, there are some mods out there that will mix total mixed ration. And the great thing about those mods is, even with Maize Plus installed, they do it the old-fashioned way. Hay, straw, and silage. Now, that's great. It'll get us TMR. It will mean I only need to provide two food groups instead of 4. However, these mixers do not take a lot of the things from Maize Plus into consideration, like grass silage, or alfalfa silage, or clover silage. They don't recognize those as silage types, and therefore they will not mix them as silage into the TMR mix. So, what's a guy to do? Well, I need to make whole crop silage. Now, grass won't do that. Grass turns into grass silage. Okay? So, basically what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to need to plant a field of corn or chop some other crop, and we have soybeans right here. It's very much a possibility, but these aren't going to be in for quite some time, and my other crops are currently spoken for. So adding TMR to the mix, just because of the silage issue, is going to be a bit of a challenging process. Unless I could find a place to buy silage, but that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. So that's where we stand on that issue. I am going to move in the direction of making total mixed ration, and I'm going to do it with a mixer. But until I get whole crop silage made, there's no point in even trying. However, because I still need to provide my cattle with hay, during that process, I'm going to be cranking out a lot of hay, because I need hay to make the total mixed ration, and then I still need to feed the cattle hay. So I'm going to be focused on hay, 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 and more hay. But the nice thing is, these mixers have been updated to a point where they do recognize a few things from Maize Plus. So I can use clover hay to make total mixed ration. Okay, so the finished mowing up the clover field over there, and I've got other work for it to do at this point. This is the grass field that I created, you know, where we cut the trees. And in order to get courseplay to set up on a course like this, it's just a little bit different. The first thing I want to do is calculate the field's edge path. And it's not grabbing it just at the moment, so I'm going to pull in a little bit farther. There it goes. So what courseplay has done is it looked around and said, okay, this is where the field is. It's marked the whole edge of the field. Now, I want to add, so I'm going to run up, and I know at some point I set one for 80. So I'm going to run this up to 80, and I'm going to save this as course 80. So I'm going to overwrite field 80. I don't even remember what field 80 was at the time. So at this point, this has now become field 80 as far as courseplay is concerned. Now I'm going to open my course generation menu. I'm going to stick with 8.4 meters. That looks, or I'm going to set to 8.4 because that's what my mowers are. I'm going to run headlands, or no, I'm not. I'm going to do one headland pass and then have him run back and forth to get this mowed cleanly. And then I'm going to generate my field course. Oh, no, that's on field 10. Harv? There it is. Field 80, user. And I'm going to set, and now he knows that this is the field he's supposed to be working on. I'm going to back him out just a little bit so that he can get lined up. I want him set to first waypoint, and I'm going to tell him to drive that course. And now he's going to go in there, fire up these mowers, and start running this course the way I told him to. So there is another helper going at this point. I need to go shut down this helper. Actually, this helper is shut down. Has finished the contract over here. Look at all that slurry out there. Yowza. Let's collect that thing while we can. That's a $9,600 payday. Outstanding. And there is one field that I'm looking for to pop up on here, and it's not showing up yet. But right now, my next closest field is field 19, so I'm going to run this guy over there and get him started. Okay, so I've got my helper on the fence mowing grass. I have got the Massey out on field 19 spreading slurry for another contract. We're going to be bringing in some contract money on top of our milk money now that spring is here. We've got to take advantage of that, plus I've got so much bloody slurry and manure built up from the winter time. I might as well take advantage of it. Now this is our carrot field, and it's doing very, very well. It's probably going to be ready for harvest before the end of spring, and if that's the case, and I don't see why it wouldn't be the case, our chickens are very, very close. Our chickens are very, very close. I guess I should say Frau Bauman's chickens, but still. But they do need a little bit of herbicide. We're going to get that knocked out. And then I'm going to move the Unimog over to the clover field, because the Unimog is quite the versatile little machine, I have to say. It's going to be getting quite the workout on the farm these days, especially with these small jobs, because there's not much it can't handle. I can't tell you how impressed I've been. I wish I'd realized just how useful this thing was when I had it for Herr Huber. Although I didn't need it, because Herr Huber had 87 different freaking tractors that he could use for any bloody chore you could think of. But that's beside the point. We don't have that option over here, so utilizing a small piece of equipment like this to get these little jobs done is exceedingly helpful. And once again, the little Unimog for the win. There's not much this little truck can't handle. I'm going to get some clover hay. Now, as I was saying earlier with TMR, I'm going to need plenty of hay, so I'll have grass hay, I'll have clover hay, I'll even have extra feed if I can start making TMR, and that's sorting out the silage issue. I'll even have extra food in the silo left over, I'm sure, just in case I can't make enough TMR to to make everything function as I intend. But when did Harv ever let anything as small as a little bit of complicated crop slow him down? Oh, never. Nope. Whatever it takes, that's what we do to get the job done. And of course the milk price waited until the end of the day to finally peak. But at least I'm going to get the sale in before the end of today, and it should be a good one. Oh yeah, look at that, 82,662 euros. Jackpot! And I have collected on at least one other contract, and I still have helpers. Still have helpers working. They should both be finishing up very shortly, and we're all going to call it a day. And what a day it's been. Tomorrow is probably going to be just as bad. Well, I drove the Fendt home last night because I wanted to drop the windrower off up at this grass field. I have a feeling I'm going to need it there today. I'm sure I'm going to need it there today because, well, the sun's going to dry our grass out into hay. My helper is already working a new contract. I got him started first thing this morning, spreading slurry on yet another field. Now, I do still have my little Unimog sitting out here waiting for me to get this bloody this bloody clover hay off of this field because, well, it's going to need everything. It's going to need 2 coats of fertilizer and herbicide to make sure we maximize the yield off of our clover field. And man, that's our first mowing on this thing already, and it's still only mid-spring, so we could end up getting 3 cuttings off of this pretty darn easily, if I'm honest. And as always, I'm going to try to just get clover hay and not regular grass in here, because we've seen in the past how other stuff deletes our clover hay if we don't have enough. But at this point we've got plenty, so it doesn't matter what I run over. It's only at the beginning that happens, if you recall. And I just realized this is bad, okay? I just realized even Harv still trying to keep track of everything doesn't quite do it right. So what that tells me is this. I forgot to turn the water on here last night. That means I'm going to go into my shop menu right now and solve this problem. In fact, I'm just going to search pump. I'm going to search pump. There it is, water pump. Now I can put this in pretty much anywhere, as long as it's somewhere in the vicinity of this cattle pasture. It's good to go, but it makes the most sense to put it right by the water valve, right? Absolutely. So I'm going to pop that in there, and now my cows will never run out of water again. Just because Harv can't keep track of what they are and aren't doing. They're good for food, though. So everybody else is in good shape. Oh, let me check one more thing. They're getting low on straw, but that's okay. Cows did take a little bit of a health hit there. They were in the 90s, 95%, and now they're down to 85%. They will rebound. 15 times speed. Well, when you advance time so dramatically, the game is obviously thinking they've been out of water for a very long time, when to you it's just a few minutes. So, mistakes happen. No cows were killed in the making of this episode. And that's really the important thing at this point. No cows died. And there's another 93,000 liters of clover hay in storage. Good to go. Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I'm just going to leave that right there because I know I'm going to need it again later. I want my little UNIMOG at this point because I want this thing to do a little bit more fertilizer action for me. Now again, or not fertilizer, but herbicide. I want my clover field taken care of. Get the weeds out of here. You know, as strange as it may sound, I'm not going to have the UNIMOG do the clover. I'm going to have the Fent do it. Reason being, I want to put a helper on this. I can't use a traditional helper because without a complete field of weeds, they're not going to do it. I would just set up course play, but the UNIMOG doesn't like course play, so I'm going to have the Fent do this. The Fent will do this with course play, no problem. That's what I really care about at this point. So if I fire up course play, course generation, field 10, width good, generate field course, back, the Fent will knock this out in a heartbeat. There it goes. But the UNIMOG wouldn't. The UNIMOG will, however, drive me over to my grass field to see how the hay's coming along, although it's going to be pretty squirrely with the weight on the front, but I don't want to lose the weight just yet. So I will deal with the weight even if it means driving through my carrots. Now we don't have hay yet. I don't think it's far off though. I know we've got good drying weather coming in, but there's another reason I wanted to come over here. You remember the trees that we planted? Well, that Frau Baumann insisted that we plant to make sure that people have a nice, lovely drive-through here. But I do have a problem. I've got a problem area. If you'll remember when we planted these, I didn't have my tree planter set properly and I got a big clump. Now in seasons, if you plant trees, A, they take a long time, and B, if you plant them too close together, it will stunt their growth. So I want to thin these out just a little bit. That looks about right. Take out 2 in between. Come on, brother. There you are. Very good. And you. And then we've got a good tree there, so I think I'll try to take you out. There we go. So now we've thinned them out, and they should grow a little bit better. Now they're still close enough together that they're not going to get massive or anything, but they're not so close together that they will be completely stunted, and that's what's really important at this point. Come on, Squirrely. Well, I told you we were going to dry up this hay pretty quick. Very quickly, actually. And again, well, the Fent did get done spraying that field of clover. Which reminds me, I need to get fertilizer on that thing, and I need fertilizer on this field too. But I can't run courseplay with the UNIMOG. It basically thinks it's some kind of a harvester and has crop in it that needs to be emptied out. That's really what ends up happening with this. And so courseplay is like, the UNIMOG needs to be emptied. While I'm sitting here saying, no it doesn't. But that's okay, because that thing, my little truck, can handle this this trailer with no problem. So I'll do the collecting while my helper keeps trucking along. Well, let me get out of your way, brother. I don't want to slow you down. Well, I have to say this spring has been a race against time. Middle spring, anyway. Everything, I mean, you know, it's all these little jobs that keep piling up. They just keep piling up, and it looks like we've got Field 27 contract done. Let's take care of that real quick. Outstanding. Oh, we've got 2, 26 and 27. So we're going to collect those. And then at some point, I need to run my tractor over to 44. I'm not going to do that just yet. What are our milk prices at right now? They're dropping off. So I'm not going to concern myself with the milk sale at the moment. That's not going to be that big of a deal. The little UNIMOG is going to keep plugging away here, and the Fent should be finishing up over there. So, well, if the Fent gets done, the Fent can go do the collecting on the hay. Or I'll do the collecting on the hay with the Fent, I should say. Can't be too far away. It's not that big of a field. Let's go look. Oh yeah, last pass here. Fent's doing the last pass on this. That's outstanding. That's very, very nice indeed, actually. So we're going to be ready to stop him when he gets to the end of this row. Nice and neat, I must say. Stop. Shut her down. Fold her up. It does not look like I'm going to get any time on my own farm here. Woo. Again, it's the little jobs. All these little tiny jobs that come together all at once. And then, I'll tell you, I honestly think my carrot field and my wheat field are going to come to the wheat and barley field, the combined field. I'm pretty darn sure those are going to come together all at the same time also. And I don't think they're far. In fact, I know they're not far off. I'm almost surprised they didn't come in today, but I will be surprised if they don't come in tomorrow. That's a non-issue at this point because that's tomorrow, and tomorrow will not be today. Tomorrow will not be part of this episode. So over the course of the last 2 days, Frau Baumann has made $120,000. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Harv made $18,000. That should be right. I make $15,000 for every 100,000 she makes, and $1,500 for every 10,000 she makes. So that would be 15 and 3 is 18,000. Well, euros. I always fall back on dollars. Euros. 18,000 euros. And it's been an incredibly, stupidly, ridiculously, outrageously productive day. That's the only way I can explain it. I mean, but it's, you know, it's all the little dinky jobs that just pile up, and then you've got to scramble to get them all caught up. But we managed to do it. We managed to do it, and Frau Baumann's farm is better off for it, and our bank account is better off for it as well, because I did manage to keep somebody working to bring in money. Even though we didn't get a milk sale in today, we had a very, very, very good one yesterday. But I'm going to finish up just a few little minor things here on Frau B's farm. And I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ravensberg. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. As always, I very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.